Guys, that's me.
All right, let's call this meeting order of June 9, 2026, 6 p.m. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will the clerk please take the roll?
Councilmember Wood,
Here.
Councilmember Richardson,
Present.
Councilmember Arias.
Here.
Councilmember Kangiser.
Here.
Councilmember Hess.
Here.
Councilmember Johnstone.
Here.
Councilmember Kaminsky. Here. Mayor DePinto.
Here. Can we get agenda approval?
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Right, Councilor Kangiser. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Moving on to special presentations, there's none scheduled. Moving on to public comment. If there's anyone from the audience who wishes to speak or address council, now's your chance, opportunity. It looks like we have one blue card. Is it Elias?
Yes.
Please, you have 3 minutes and address
Hi.
our meeting.
All right. Well, I think that we should try to create a youth council for Yelm. I think that would be very beneficial for our whole community by getting some extra hands here to help get work done, teach students about the city council and managing things and running things. Lacey has had one for 7 years so far, and it's been very successful for them. It's been working well, and I think it'd be a good way to get students to engage more with our community, help have students help you create more events and help push and get things done. It also gives some of the younger people in our community a chance to state their voices and their opinions. And I think we can do a lot of work to help benefit the community as a whole by taking some students from Yelm High School and creating a youth council to, they can meet every month or every couple weeks. We can help with community events and getting things done. They can be educated on procedure and running things here, and it can help create more job opportunities for children in Yelm, more college opportunities for children in Yelm. And it can also help engage students into things like city council early and possibly help us create some new city council members in the future and more people willing to create movements and increase the confidence in our younger population. Thank you.
Thank you, Elias. I think it's well received, and we will be looking to create that youth council. It's always good to get the perspective of younger folks around here. So thank you very much. Appreciate it. Is there anyone else from the audience that wishes to testify? All right, moving on to, is there anyone online?
We do not have any hands raised.
Moving on to the consent agenda, we have a few items, including the May 5th, 2026 study session minutes, the May 12th, 2026 regular meeting minutes, May 26th, 2026 regular meeting minutes, March 2026 check register and position summary, and the April 2026 check register and position summary. Councilmember Kaminsky.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Arias. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. All right, moving on to new business. We have a professional service agreement with Stowe Development and Strategies LLC. Todd.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Council. I'm in front of you this evening regarding a professional services agreement with Bob Stowe from Stowe Development and Strategies, as I presented last week at the study session. Some of the key facts and summary of how Bob will help us. As you know, we're in the process of negotiating a development agreement with Blueburn. In addition to considering and working through the process, challenge and opportunities to create an incremental taxing district to fund the Southern Loop Boulevard and associated infrastructure. These two tasks will guide the master plan development and fund critical infrastructure over the next 20 years or more. Due to the importance and the significance of this opportunity, we would like to hire Bob Stowe from Stowe Development and Strategies to assist the city. The attached scope of services and proposed fee includes the negotiations of the development agreement, the initial consideration of which incremental taxing option would be best suited for the city and this project. Additional services and agreements with Bob may come forward in the future, depending upon the work and type of assistance needed moving forward. Bob has extensive experience in leading, managing, coordinating, and implementing a wide variety of complex and multifaceted projects, including master plans. Bob has served as the prime consultant by 10 different cities to guide their taxing district programs. Any questions?
Councilor Hess.
I just want to make sure that, to clarify, because of the cost and things like that, we would actually have to not just hire one additional person, but multiple people to cover what putting a contract with this individual, with his organization would cost. Is that correct?
I'm not sure I understand. So
have
other people involved, you mean?
We don't have the skill set for the current people, and to hire additional people to be able to cover something like this would cost more than what this contract would go for. Am I to understand that correctly?
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes. So Bob provides a service that, from what we can determine and find, is a very unique skill set in the world of incremental financing. Our own city attorney, our bond attorney, as well as our finance director, have all encouraged us to reach out to Bob to make him a part of this process, to make sure that our interests are represented moving forward, and that whatever bond financing option we can come up with is what's best for the city taxpayers and beyond. So we've had several interactions with Bob up to this point, and all of which have been extremely helpful in getting the conversation going the right way for us. So.
Councilor Wood.
I move to approve the professional services agreement with Stowe Development Strategies in the not to exceed amount of $20,000.
Second.
Second by Councilor Kaminsky. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Thank you, Council. Thank you, Todd. Moving on to item B under new business, resolution number 667, fee schedule updates. Tony? We'll just. Excuse me, Kathy.
Excuse me while I change seats. I like coming over here once in a while. So we have the fee schedule before you. We have gone over this in a prior study session. We had planned to bring it to you sooner, but we did a little bit more work behind the scenes before bringing it to you. The only update that's different from when you saw it last is previously there was a clause on here too that we wouldn't charge any fees that were under $2, and that's how it was presented to you prior. That's since been removed, that we would charge all fees, and so if council's in favor of that. But I don't have any new information to present. I'd be happy to go over the other stuff, or again, if you would like.
Councilor Wood.
I'm curious what the factors were that made you decide to remove that clause or that section, that we were not going to collect the $2, but now we are. Just curious what. Based on.
That was your request,
For the which item?
to remove the $2, to waive any fees that would be less than $2.
Sure. So we don't want to make it a hindrance for folks that are trying to get services, or excuse me, get like photo IDs or photos. I'm not explaining this right. We're not trying to make it more difficult for people, especially specifically for the body cameras and that footage and over there. Difficult for them to get access. But what we are trying to do is prevent the professionals from professional folks that are doing these big, huge requests from making those huge requests without any recourse. And so basically we're asking for a deposit, if I'm understanding this correct one, right? It would
For larger
require,
ones, we would require a deposit, yes.
and by removing this, it would, I'm sorry if I'm not understanding this the correct.
It would charge any requester regardless of the amount. So the current charges that we're proposing, electronic files, if we upload electronic files, the RCW allows us to charge 5 cents for every 4 files that are uploaded. So if we put more documents in that we provide to a person, we would charge them 5 cents. And then also in addition to that, if we can charge 10 cents per gigabyte. So if a request had 4 documents and those documents equaled 10 gigabytes, which probably wouldn't happen, it'd have to be a huge document for that to happen, then that request would be charged 15 cents.
Sorry, I don't have the section in front of me, but that does sound
No,
accurate.
I think I understand. And what you're saying is that $2 is a minimum of what we'll charge per, because it sounds like that's pretty inexpensive for if somebody wants to come in and order a pile of, the professionals that are doing it for reasons other than the reasons that I think most people would be interested in that information.
If you're doing just a small request, yeah, it's not a big issue. It's one of these ones that we have to have IT go in and look for it. They have to spend a considerable amount of time, labor working on this project. And that's what the increase of the cost is mainly about, is staff time involved with those.
Yeah, very good, very good. I do apologize. I was unable to attend that study session. I think it was.
You're good. That's an important question. Sure. Yep. Is that accurate, Kathy, all that? Councilmember Cannister.
So is there no, if somebody comes in and they're charged $1.20, isn't there, so there's no minimum? Is that what I'm understanding?
That's how this is
In this document now, and so wouldn't it be more expensive in fees and all of that if we don't have a minimum at all? Should that minimum be in there to avoid those fees? Am I understanding that correctly? We would charge essentially $1 for 10 gigabytes and 20 more cents for 4 more files.
Yes, if we had a request and the fees only came to, if they came to whatever, like you said, this is how this is presented, whatever they came to, we would charge that. The other option was that if a fee was gonna be less than $2, we would waive the fee. If the charge was gonna be less than $2.
Was there any staff request on that from police or?
Or charging, it would be a benefit to the police department staff to have a minimum threshold of $1 or $2, because most requests are gonna fall under that and most people would not pay. The staff time, so if a person requests records that are police records specifically, they don't take payments over there. So if they request records, what they would have to do is they would have to reach out to the person, let them know this is how much your request is gonna be. That person would call here, make a credit card payment over the phone, or come in and pay cash if they wanted to do it that way. The person would take the payment. If it's credit card payment, the person at the counter, whoever takes that payment, then has to manually enter that into our software system, because those payments don't upload automatically. That's the process that would happen. For here, we would, I mean, I'm right here and the people, but the same thing, I would reach out to the requester if it was the one that I was filling and say, here's your request, this is how many documents is, you owe X amount of dollars. Connect them up front if they wanted to pay right then. They could pay by phone, they could come in and pay, and then we would release the payment.
Councilor Richardson.
So just to reiterate, but to understand again, so what we're doing is we're waiving, right? We're waiving, no, it's the opposite of that. Okay, that's what I want to understand. So before there was a waive, that's okay, there we go. So before there was anything that was waived, that was under $2. And then now we're saying, no, we're not waiving anything under $2. We're going to charge for every little piece of information.
Yes, that's how this one's presented. The only item on this one that would not receive a charge is a police report to a victim of a crime. So if someone comes in and needs a police report, they're the victim of a crime, they would receive their police report for free.
Councilor S.
In reference to the so-called minimum payment, you removed it by that it was $2. If it was under $2, there was going to be no charge. My question is, what is the cost of running a credit card? Because if somebody has only 25 cents, they're not able to come in, they run the credit card. We're responsible for paying that fee. And so I know there's a minimum credit card fee. And that's one of my concerns, is that we could end up incurring more costs than what we are getting.
Kathy, could you give me an example perhaps of what the range is for these costs? Is it usually like 5 cents or 10 cents, or is it?
The majority of, for the cost of the public records requests,
Correct.
the majority of them would probably be, a lot of them would fall under a 5 cent fee. There's 4 documents. I mean, a lot of them have possibly 4 documents. Some of them have 1. So, I mean, the majority of them would probably have a fee of easily less than 50 cents.
Councilor Richardson.
After hearing what Councilmember Hess says, I think it sounds like it's a valid point, because then we would incur some charges that are meaningless. And then maybe there's a off, maybe we have to take a look at that again. I would think, because as it stands now, I don't know if that details in this.
If council would like to approve the resolution with a minimum threshold that we wouldn't charge, that would just require a motion. You could make a motion to waive fees under a certain dollar amount. If that's what you want to do.
What would be the impact of that? Is there any reason why that would be a bad or good thing for let's say police, or for you here at Public Records?
It would save staff time. For the police department has had roughly, they've had well over 300 requests that they filled already this year. The majority of those requests are very minor. The intent of the fees is not to make money or recover money on here, but to allow us in most cases, for when there's a very large request, that we could charge a deposit up front before we even start working on it. First of all, we can estimate what we feel like it's gonna be, and then we can charge the deposit up front, which would prevent a bot request or a request from someone who's maybe incarcerated and just requesting information because they're bored for something to do. If they're not able to pay that deposit, then we would not proceed with staff time. And then the large requests that we get, and we have one we're working on right now, it's gonna be quite large. Those we would be able to charge a deposit. And then we would be charging these fees, and they would probably add up to a fair amount for those type requests.
It was my understanding that this was requested by staff. That's why I thought that I was trying to take that out. But if this was not, I don't have any issue with removing it that way. Councilmember Arias.
That's what I was gonna say. I'm not hearing a good argument for not having the minimum. So, okay, I just wanted to say that out loud.
Yeah, Councilor Wood.
I'm curious, Councilmember Hess's question in reference to the cost for merchant services. Any idea what that is per transaction, what we're paying?
I don't. The credit card fee that we get charged, the customer does pay that at the time that they would make the payment. But there's also behind the scenes, like you said, merchant fees, as you know, as a business owner, that there are behind the scenes fees that we get charged for transactions. I don't know what those are.
Be interesting to know, and that would help decide whether it was a good move. Because if it's merchant services are at $2.80, which of course the odds are that would be extreme, and we need new merchant services at that point, I would think.
Other questions, comments? Look for motion, Councilmember Kingheiser.
I move to approve resolution number 667, updating the city of Yelm fee schedule with an amendment to waive any fees under the amount of $2.
Second by Councilor Richardson. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Thank you, council. Thank you,
So
Kathy.
you're welcome. And so just to be clear, the other updates that you were briefed on previously were the park fees, and Lynn was here tonight to answer any questions that you would have had for those. But if you're good on the previous presentations. Okay.
Surely, blessed.
Thank you. All right, moving on to old business, none scheduled. Moving on to standing council committee reports, public safety committee.
Had a meeting on June 2nd. And we discussed the recent SB 6002. It looks like State Patrol will continue utilizing clock as we are, or as under the necessary requirement, which was kind of neat to be able to discuss that and hear about different agencies that are utilizing tools like this. The more agencies that do use a tool like that, the better that it can work together. We currently have a 1.5 years left on our contract, and Flock definitely continues to strive to be a good company and top notch on that. We also discussed updates to our CMIIT OII interlocal agreement and our regional SWAT team ILA. Learning so many acronyms, but lots of interlocal agreements. The one with our SWAT team, I think I've shared this before, but big shout out to our 4 officers, members of our SWAT team, our regional SWAT team. Assistant Police Chief Tillman Atkins is a commander, as well as 3 of these officers are in leadership positions. Very proud of the extra work that they put into to accomplish and maintain these extra skill sets. Our officers truly are top notch. Court updates. Wednesdays are passport days with a Sunday fair coming up on June 28th, and that'll be from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Another will be held in August. Courts will also have 2 training days this month with the courts, prosecutor, and police department.
Alrighty, thank you. Public Services Committee.
No meeting.
Finance Committee.
We had a meeting scheduled for today, but no agenda, so it was canceled.
Alrighty. General Government Committee.
No meeting.
Moving on to Mayor, City Minister, staff reports. Scott.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple other updates here from the police department side. They had a very busy weekend. Starting last Thursday, they assisted with the officer-involved shooting just outside of Yelm. The Yelm officer was the first backup unit that arrived after the shooting had occurred. Did an outstanding job providing scene security and rendering first aid to the injured person. Saturday evening, when the Yelm officer who was in an accident was struck by a truck that ran a stop sign and T-boned our officer. The officer had a civilian rider with him at the time. Both the officer and our civilian rider were transported to the hospital, were later released. They're doing well. So that was Saturday evening. From the court, the passport fair was already covered. From Public Services, Reza Raukard, right? Raukard was officially promoted to the position of city engineer last Monday. He replaced former city engineer Pat Hughes. So congratulations to him. From our Communications and Rec Department, Sunday, June 14th, Flag Day ceremony. 2 p.m. Partnership with the VFW. Tuesday, June 16th, community conversations in conjunction with the Yelm Lions Club breakfast at 7 a.m. Thursday, June 25th, kicks off Prairie Days with bingo from 5 to 8 at the community center. Friday, June 26th, Party on the Prairie is back with concerts from the Olsen Brothers and Dakota Portman starting at 5. Saturday, June 27th, the parade, followed by several kid-themed activities in the park. And Sunday, June 28th, wrap up the annual mush ball tournament at Longmire Park starting at 9. In addition, planning and final preparations for our council management retreat coming up this week are in full swing. Any questions, please refer to myself or Kathy. We can get them answered for you. Reminder that June 23rd, we will not have our regularly scheduled city council meeting, as we will have several council members at our annual training. And then Multi-Care Pulse Heart Institute, located at 904 East Yelm Avenue, Suite A, will have their open house on Monday, June 22nd from 4 to 6. You are invited to see the clinic, meet the providers, and learn more about the services that will be offered with a flyer right here if you're interested in that. That's all I have, Mary.
Thank you, Doug. For my report, I attended the EDC meeting last week. I actually gave a presentation on some of the things that we're doing here in Yelm, including the Yelm Loop and some of the transportation projects. At a TRPC meeting, one of the cool things on that one was hearing a study on the different alternate routes that people can take and their impacts when I-5 is shut down. So we got to see kind of some of the choke points. And then my mayor's meeting was canceled on Friday. Moving on to councilman reports, starting with Councilor Wood.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I had a PCOM meeting, but unfortunately it was canceled. So that's my report.
All right, thank you. Councilor Richardson.
Oh, excited about the council retreat this weekend. I got myself a chauffeur. So I'll be excited to, be up there and
That's your riding on the back of my bike.
I know. This is my report, point of order. That's about it.
All righty, thank you. Councilor Arias.
I don't have much to report at the start of the month. I do want to mention I'll be attending the Regional Housing Council meeting in person tomorrow, and I'll bring back an update at our next meeting. I also want to take a moment and recognize that June is Pride Month. I believe a city works best when every person feels that they belong here, and I want our LGBTQ plus neighbors to know that they're seen and that they have a seat at the table. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. King Iser.
I want to actually take a moment to congratulate our Yelm High School class of 2026. They graduated on Sunday. I got to watch it on YouTube. Great job. It's a big accomplishment. The challenges that these kids face today seem so different than the challenges that I faced in my day. So to see so many of them walk across the stage with promise, life, and so much energy is absolutely inspiring to keep pushing forward for more. So congratulations to the class of 2026. And speaking of moving forward, so obviously our meeting was canceled for our next June meeting. And so I thought that we had like the different zoning from that annexation. I've been kind of digging in and asking a couple of you about that motion that may have been presented to council. Will it be rescheduled? I kind of expected it to be on today's. I know we've talked about it. I wondered if Cody had some more solid explanations for that, or what's coming, or if it's like zone 8, zone 3, these different things.
Yeah. Cody, do you want to give a short update on annexation process?
So I'll stay here. So in zone, if you guys remember when the annexation happened, zone 8 was kind of in this weird area. They were zoned R1 to 5 in county. Immediately after annexation, a letter was sent to all those owners in zone 8. And it was all the current restriction or all the current things they were able to do under R1 to 5. Immediately the homeowners reached out to us and said, we don't want those things. We don't want to be able to do those here. They didn't realize those were the old codes they were under. So once we told them these are the old codes, you're actually under open space now, kind of a sigh of relief in some of their eyes. So we're working with them right now to create a new zone we're calling the Heritage Zone. The Elizabeth Burton Crow is leading that up with us. And she's kind of communicating because some of the owners don't have internet or other things they access. So she is leading that up and we're working together to create that Heritage Zone. It'll take a couple, probably months, I would imagine, to build a code of what that zone will look like. But now they are safer under open space zone than they were under R1 to 5. They didn't even realize it until they saw what they could have done under R1 to 5. So that's zone 8. The other zones, there's going to be some rezoning of industrial properties that we had mentioned several months ago. Those will be coming to council in July. They're going to planning commission next month of those industrial properties or residential properties.
Cody.
Thank you.
That it?
That is it.
All right. Thank you. Councilor Hess.
Not only is June 14th Flag Day, but it's also the Army's birthday. Sorry, Director Colt, you're going to have to remind me when Navy's birthday is, but so June 14th will be a big celebration going on at ABLM as well. Also in reference to the SWAC committee meeting that I was part of, we went to look at a recycling center in Tacoma. It was fun. It was nice. And because of that, I was preparing myself for some, trying to figure out what kind of questions to ask if opportunity came up. And I was realizing that there was a lot with recycling, looking at it, Seattle, they've had cases where they have thrown out more recycling than they've collected at times because it's contaminated or it wasn't done correctly. And one of the things that state of Washington legislature did was they passed the Recycling Reform Act for Washington State. If you have a concern about this, if you're a business owner, or even if you are just a resident, this law goes into effect in 2030, and that's where the producers of the products will be the ones responsible for paying up to 90% of that recycling process. So they're trying to get so the cost shifts away from the consumer to the producer. And so if you're interested in that, I recommend keeping an ear out and watching for more discussions about that on how they're going to implement that. And last item is with intercity transit. I just want to remind everybody, if you're doing one of the wonderful World Cup events that are in this area, public transportation is highly recommended because the cost of parking will be a little higher than you want, and it works. It works to get us up to Seattle, and it works to get us into Lacey. So I wish everybody luck, and hopefully the World Cup is a lot of fun.
Thank you. Councilor Johnstone.
At EMS Council Tuesday, I unfortunately had a scheduling conflict, couldn't attend. That's all.
All right. Councilor Kaminsky.
I had no new meetings.
All righty. There is no executive session scheduled. Need a motion to adjourn.
To adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Kaminsky. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. We are adjourned.